Hello! Welcome to a new kind of video here. I haven't really talked about it in videos here too much, but part of my education was I was a GIS minor, and then I got my degree in geography. GIS basically is playing with computer programs to make maps. Searching through maps has been pretty important for me in terms of learning the field, and I think that a really cool way that we can talk about that is to download iNaturalist observations and just explore them on the map. Today we're going to be doing that for a place that's very close to home for me. I've not really actually spent that much time here myself, but Rocky Mountain National Park is one of the most popular parks in the country, and we've got a lot of awesome stuff there. So what I've done here is I downloaded the original data set was 200,000 observations off of iNaturalist. This one is 74,008 iNaturalist observations. I believe I put the thing starting in like 2018 or something like that. You can't download more than 200,000 observations, so I couldn't get all of them, but this is a lot of them. But we've also got some summits. You can see those here. We've got park roads, visitor centers, there's trails, there's streams. We've got composite imagery here. This is from Landsat 8. We'll turn this off when we get closer, but especially looking out, it's pretty cool to look at. This is the world on a real day. I believe it was in like July of 2023. It looks like sometime in the morning or mid-afternoon. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. So let's start looking through the data set. You can see now, as we get in closer, that composite imagery doesn't update. Here you can start to see some trails and streams and a lot of iNaturalist observations. There's no way to do this without being hectic, so it's hectic over here, but that's a good looking cutthroat. My good God, that is a handsome fish right there. Those things are so cool. We'll have to do one of these one time where we just go through and look at all of the cutthroats, because there's actually a lot of like local variation in those, and there's a lot of different, I don't know if they're current subspecies, but they were former ones. We got up here, mule deer, don't care, chilling in the water. It's good to see that these are cutthroat trout, because in most of the lakes in Colorado you only have rainbow trout, because there used to be cutthroat trout there, and then people came up and said, we love to eat rainbow trout. And then they fed themselves rainbow trout, and now there's no more cutthroat trout. And it sucks. That is a pretty good looking fish right there. People need to learn to take photos for iNaturalist where the thing is in focus, though. That's one of my pet peeves. Let's look at some reptiles. We're going to do attribute table where iconic taxon name is equal to. We're going to do amphibians first, because there's really only one reptile in the park, wandering garter snakes. And as much as I love wandering garter snakes, I'm not really just trying to look at them. Hey, look, it's Brian Maltese. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Let's see who we got. We're gonna have a lot of togers and boreal chorus frogs. A mud puppy? No. No. Let's see. Zoom to. Where's the mud puppy? Oh yeah, is it a mud puppy? No. Yeah, look at all the herpers. And the person that, I'm not going to look where they're from. I'm sure they're from here. They're definitely not from somewhere else. Look at all these people that know, and then one person going, nope, it's still a mud puppy. And so iNaturalist goes, yep, it's a mud puppy. Oh, no. That got corrected. I see. That's the species guess. I'm sorry. Here's a boreal toad. Here's one of the coolest things that's on here, Ranger Carina. It's a little guy, too. Those things, as far as I know, I easily could be wrong about this, but those guys are, like, they're not doing well in the park at all because of chytrid. Chytrid is a fungus that just, like, really takes out boreal toads in particular. A lot of different amphibians across the world have actually succumbed to it, like a lot of Atelopus. I don't know about a lot. I'm not like a numbers guy in this place, but quite a few species of Atelopus, as far as I know, have been like really not doing well because of this. Here's another boreal toad. That's an adult. That's a handsome toad, man. Look at his warts. I love toads, and it's pretty difficult to work with boreal toads. I got one a couple years ago, but it's the kind of thing where the whole time you look at boreal toads, you just don't feel good about what you're doing. That's not my favorite thing to do. It gives me anxiety, because it makes me feel, here's another one, like I am going to cause doom. Because the thing with boreal toads is the reason there's chytrid up there is because, look at Zach Weekland out here. Man, look at that toad's hands. He's so handsome. Don't do this, because you're not supposed to handle boreal toads like at all. So don't do it. But Zach did it, and he got photos in the park. Let's go. These guys are really not doing too well, especially in the park. I know that they do some work in the park with like introductions and stuff. And there's a lot of good work going on. We'll have to get Remy on here to talk about that because he works pretty closely within it. Here's Ranger Karina, another adult. They're so handsome. It's just crazy that they even exist to me. Like, this is their range. Let's take a look at this. This is the wildest thing about them, is that they're just like, look at this. That, like, they're in Alaska, they're in northern Canada. They're a wild creature. Especially in here, they just do not do very well in here. So cool to see these guys in the park. Another boreal toad. They are present in the park. I guess that's something that I'm learning real quick here. I mean, they just don't do very well, especially in a place. Wow, that's a big one. Holy Hannah. That thing is tremendous. That thing's probably, I mean, it's not as big as your hand, but it's an adult toad. It's crazy how big they get. Look at those crests. Those things are awesome. But yeah, I've seen one of these guys. I just don't like looking for them that much. It would be cool to do some work in that space more meaningfully, but I don't know. It's just not something that is easy to do. It's not something that I would recommend anybody do. Let's look at some plants. How about that? This is the cool thing about using this data in this sense, is because it's so easy. You can just, where iconic taxonomy name is Plante. Let's go over here. 43,000 of the 74,000 are plants. These are a cool one. I've got Thermopsis rhombifolia in the yard. These are cool. These are supposed to be like a really important plant for elk and moose, or arnicas. These guys were all over where I was last summer doing wood frog stuff. Oh, there's some strawberries down there. Oh, no. That's woods rose. Let's look at the blue flag. Blue flag is a great plant. They're an iris, and they grow very widespread in the Rockies. Basically, anywhere you get like sunny, open, wet meadows, you get these a lot. If you drive up, like, is it Highway 9 that goes up to Kremling? From like Silverthorne, whatever that road is, there's a lot of them up there. Miner's candle, great plant. Got this one in the yard. This is a really great plant. This is a little one too, and they get super tall. The one that I have in the yard, the base of it got like this big around last year, and so I hope this spring we'll be able to go back there and it's going to be doing this stuff, because it's really sick. I was up in Boulder a couple years ago, and there was one that was like 3 feet tall, and just great. Here's Colorado State flower, Achilligia cerulean. Check out this guy. That is a great flower. There's one that it grows in the Front Range. I don't know how widespread it is. It's either a subspecies. I don't know. The botanists get weird. It doesn't have the white sepals, so it's just this big, crazy, papery blue flower with the yellow anthers. I don't know. Get Joey Santori on here if you want, somebody that knows what they're talking about. Don't talk to me. I just point at stuff and go, ah. So that's Colorado State flower. There's a lot of them up there. I've got 2 of these in the yard. One of them is about 6-7 feet tall. Wow, that's a really good color too. The ones that we get, they get pretty good, but they don't get like that. That's a great looking flower. And they're just obscene. Like, they grow on everything. Jordan and I did a hike last year where there was certain Wyoming. This is a cool plant, if this is the one that I'm thinking of. All the Indian paintbrushes are cool plants, but yeah. No, this is not the one that I thought of. I saw one. It's cool though. Oh, also, these are all native. That was part of the thing that I did, is I just select all natives. This is another one of my favorites. I got this one in the yard. Yeah, look at that. Mine didn't do that last year, but if it does this year, it's going to be awesome, because birds super love those. What we got over here? We got a plus. What's the plus? This is a bird. What kind of bird we got? A ptarmigan. Great bird right here. These guys are so sick. What time of year was this? So this was in October. You can see that brown. For those of you who don't know what a ptarmigan is, ptarmigan is a kind of bird that in the summer will be totally brown so that it can match the earth, and then during the winter they go through a phase change where they turn totally white. Somebody pay for me to be smarter. I love becoming smarter, but nobody wants to pay for it. This is probably a really good fish. Yeah, no, it's not a Yellowstone cutthroat. It's a Rocky Mountain cutthroat. I was gonna say. Damn, you must be about your mind. Dre, fear goggles blind. I'm just trying to unwind. Let's look over here. This is a cool area over here because there's quite a bit of otter activity in here. So let's see if we can find some otters. Select by attributes where many contains the text otter. Otter. There's only one record of an otter in the park on iNat. That's crazy. I saw one last summer. Not in the park, but at a place. Oh, over here. I guess that makes sense. Oh, they're just tracks. That's a rude just. I'm sorry. River otters are another one of those things. Anytime Colorado Parks and Wildlife has a website where you can go tell them about when you saw an animal, you know it's a big deal, and they've got one of those for them. A bear. See? God, I love bears. Oh, well, guy, that's a tall bear scratching a tree. God bless him. For those of you who don't know, there is perhaps no thing that I love in the world more than a bear. Bears tickle my fancy. We got a marmot. Handsome guy. Marmots are a weird creature. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of marmots up in the Alpine. Chipmunk. Let's look at a chipmunk. I love small squirrels. Look at the guy chewing on a nettle on his toes. Get up there, young fella. Or young lady. Whoever you are, God bless you. Let's look at some pikas. Here's one of the coolest creatures ever. This is a pika. We'll go find some better photos. But pika live in talus slopes, and they're year round. They don't just fall and spring it up like some creatures do. They live through the winter up there. You can see here. There's some giant talus slopes here. I forget the name of the disease, but there's a thing that's causing pika to not do very well. During the summer, I think that's what you can see here in his mouth. If you go up there with a pair of binoculars, they scream. And I've never done this, but it would be a really cool thing to do. Maybe we can do that this summer. Is they scream bloody murder, and they're only this big. They're basically a hamster, like convergently at least. Yeah, there's a good shot of one too. So that's a pika. And if you go to the right slides, they're up there and they scream and they wail, and you can watch them run around. And in the last photo you could see, I think it had, I don't know, maybe not, but they collect vegetation and they hide them so that during the winter they can, live. Some of you guys are going to be disappointed by this, but I think I'm going to take a mammal turn at some point. Like, not a hard mammal turn where that's all we do. Yeah, see here. Yeah, I don't know when, but I feel like we're going to go do some mammal stuff at some point. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize they were so big. He looks sizable. Am I allowed to say online that I'll come after you if you beat up a pika in the park after watching this video? The purpose of this video is to enjoy the park, not to be a piece of shit. So if you go out there and be a piece of shit in the park, I'm going to be very upset. Thank you, and we don't have to be doing anymore. That's awesome. See, look at that. Look at that habitat. That guy lives in that. Let's see if we can. I'm sorry that I call them guys, man. I project on the animals. I know it. And yeah, so you'll just sit at the base of that with binoculars and then I need a drink of water. There's YouTube videos of it. Look it up. But last year I was up doing some wood frog stuff, and there was a really confident eagle that just like chilled. And I walked up a cut and was looking kind of right at him in the tree. And he was, this is the kind of eagle that, like, I've lived here 20 years. None of the dummies like you have ever done nothing. There's a golden eagle. I shouldn't say, oh, cool, there's a golden eagle. 4 pixels of it. I could select this as a golden eagle. There are no bald eagles up on them cliffs. Yep. The reason there's a lot of observations here is probably all these cliffs. Golden eagles are cliff boys. Well, no, that's not an accurate statement. Okay, I've said boys too many times. Let's say girls a couple of times. They're cliff gals. There's no wood frog observations from the park. That is fascinating. It also makes sense because wood frogs are a pain in the butt to find, and we're not going to talk about it because you guys are not trustworthy. There's an Arctic blue. We were seeing marine blues in New Mexico. They're really beautiful. They're little tiny guys, and they're blue. Oh man, there's a lot of good butterflies on here. Let's do some butterfly stuff. Did y'all know that he wasn't, he was kind of the me of his time, I suppose. My great-grandfather on my mom's side was a very prolific bug collector in this area of the United States before I was born. Cool butterfly on a dandelion, checkered white, western white. I don't know anything about butterflies. My grandfather was a huge butterfly and beetle guy, and so he was like, I have some of his beetles in the other room. He has a lot of like South American stuff that he didn't collect but that he bought at like meets and stuff. A Mormon fritillary. Does he have white shirt and pants on? No. Oh, I'm excited. Please be a good picture. Oh, it's a great fish. Look at that thing. I mean, just look at that. Just look at the detail on that fish. Look at that fish, man. That thing is so good. That is the best thing we've looked at this whole time. Oh my good God. That thing is awesome. Shouts out to this guy. Does he have more back here? Shouts out Jackson Bates for that fish. That thing was great. Here's a little guy. He's definitely not as handsome. Dang it, man. I am the patriarchy. I recognize it. American Emerald. That sounds cool. It is cool. Wow. That's another thing. Man, some of you guys are going to be disappointed by this, but PetFacts is about to take kind of a more general naturalism approach because of how cool things like running crab spiders are. Let's look at this guy. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm a piece of shit. That's a handsome bug, but I'm not sorry to the bug people. It's a bug. You can call it what you like. Canada Jay, one of my favorite birds. Okay, good shot, good shot. So these birds are really cool. Let's go look at a better picture one, maybe. Yeah, there's a better picture one. So this is a Canada Jay. Let's check. I don't want to say wrong stuff. Yeah, okay. I thought so. I just don't like saying things that I have not made sure of. Here's an ironic photo. Where is it? Stop theft. The reason that's ironic is because another name for these birds is camp robbers. Imagine back in the day you're in a mining camp with a bunch of tobacco and whiskey and ladies, and this guy, that's a gal. Look at this dandy gal. This dandy gal right here shows up with this dandy gal, and they take all your stuff. And they've done it, and they'll do it again. They're really cool. They're just excellent birds, man. When I was on that field trip, me and Calvin were just kind of sitting around, and I looked up, and there was a Canada Jay up in a tree. And what they do is they investigate people in a way that is hugely entertaining, and it's excellent. Like, they just show up, and they'll, like, climb down trees and, like, what are you doing? And then they just kind of like, okay, and they take off. It happened with Maddie too. It was funny. Like, they're the coolest birds, man. They've got so much personality. Clustered lady slipper, cool plant. I think these are an orchid. Yeah, look at those things. Oh, it's Jennifer Ackerfield. Look at the person that did this observation wrote this book. I've never met her, but she's awesome. She wrote a really kick-ass book, and yeah, shouts out Jennifer Ackerfield. I'm not that good at plants. I'm really excited about them, but I'm not that good at Castellichia. I don't know how to say that. That's a great plant. Look at that thing. Holy Hannah. I don't know which one that is, but it's a good one. Another clustered lady slipper. You're not supposed to touch them. That's a good one, though. That was just as good as Jennifer Ackerfield's. Alpine sunflower, really great plant. Oh, I was hoping we'd get to look at one of these, too. Look at these. Hymenopsis grandiflora. Terrific plant. I mean, what else can you say? It's an alpine sunflower. I hope if this is not something that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm sorry, but I have a lot of respect for the work, and I like looking at the plants, and so do other people. And as we've talked about, if any of these people do anything stupid, somebody gonna come after them. And it's not me, it's somebody else. It's the Chiroptera. That's awesome. Look at that thing. The mountain thistle. That might have been what that little pica from earlier was eating. There's probably a good amount of overlap between picas and their habitat and this plant and its habitat, which is pretty, I mean, like, a lot of these are on talus or near talus. So I bet you that there's pretty close relationship between these.